Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as specified in the Act. Proper notice of this open public meeting was provided in a notice of January 4th, 2024. Said notice was posted at the entrance of the Board of Education offices, mailed to the Nutley Township Clerk, sent to Tap Into Nutley, advertised in the Nutley Sun on January 4th, 2024, and posted on the district website. Will everyone please stand for the flag salute?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. DePisa, oath of our new board member.
Yes, I believe.
Mr. Dan Fraginals, will you please come up? And Honorable Alan Jenna Temple will do the swearing in. Yeah.
Please raise your right hand. I, Daniel Fraginals, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state of the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Daniel Fraginals, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education. I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Fraginals. You could take pictures now with the family.
Hi guys, good to see you.
Thank you.
Been to a meeting in 20 years, but I'd like to say I miss it, but I really don't. Danny, good luck.
Yeah, right down at the end. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mr. Fraginals, your family's welcome to stay, but if you have to leave, you can leave at any time. Don't feel like you have to stay the whole meeting. Mr. DePisa, roll call.
Mr. Balsamo.
Here.
Mr. Battaglia. Mrs. Dancheck Martin.
Here.
Dr. D'Elia.
Here.
Mr. Fraginals.
Here.
Mr. Kaczynski. Mrs. Quirk.
Here.
Mr. Scotty.
Here.
Mr. Ferrara.
Here. Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes?
Make motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, can we have our, Mr. Banya, our superintendent report, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have this at the end, but I'd like to welcome Mr. Fraginals to the Board of Education at the beginning of my report. Welcome. Glad to have you. First, I'd like to discuss the move to St. Paul's Annex. The preschool annex at St. Paul's will open Monday, March 4th. I want to thank everyone involved with that. The congregation at St. Paul's for their work over the school year to prepare this, as well as members of our board, as well as our staff and our maintenance, Mike and Tim are sitting up here, Dave DePisa, for making this happen. It was a very challenging decision to make, to move preschool 3 and 4-year-olds in the middle of the year, maybe a little bit after the middle of the year, balancing that transition with the space that they're currently in led me to guide the district to move those 2 classes this year. They're moving into great space, clean, large space with new furniture coming in, and we're excited to open that facility. Washington School will get their music room back, and we will have more space at Spring Garden School with this move as well. We're looking forward to that, as mentioned, next week. I do want to update on our preschool initiative. The district has received approximately 360 requests for pre-K for next year, with adding 4 classrooms in our projection, 60 seats, and having some of our students entering kindergarten. The district is anticipating having approximately 110 seats available for new students. We will, by code, host a lottery towards the end of March, and then contact the students that have been selected. I do want to update the community on our snow days. So far, we've used 1 snow day to date, and Lincoln School has used another one through the fire in the fall. As dictated by our calendar, a determination will be made on April 15th on how to give those days back. So we will wait until the next board meeting to talk a little bit more about that. Leap years this year is Thursday, the 29th, and it is busy in the Nutley Public Schools. This Thursday evening, we have math night. The NEF and Mathnasium are sponsoring a math night at John Walker Middle School. Gymnasium, I believe it's sold out. It's a great event, and we're glad they're doing that. We also have college and career night here at Nutley High School. We are welcoming 83 colleges coming here. We're also working with Livingston High School to invite them to ours, and they're inviting us to theirs, which will be held on April 18th. So it's a great place to come and see the different offerings from the colleges in the area and around the country. We have musicals starting up. As you can see, we have a little different setup here for this board meeting. Our students are gearing up for the March musicals, both here at the high school and at the middle school. The middle school musical will take place on March 14th and 15th. That will be the Addams Family. And I'm sorry, where's my other one? And the high school rendition of the Tony Award-winning musical Urinetown will be on March 8th, 9th, and 10th. Additionally, along with the drama students, the high school culinary department will offer a 3rd annual dinner and a show on Thursday, March 7th. In partnering with the Parks and Rec department, we will invite seniors in for dinner and the screening of Urinetown. Thank you to Solutions Architecture for sponsoring that event. Next week, the district will be celebrating Read Across America by having guest readers throughout the week in our elementary schools to share their favorite book. And pretty exciting, the first time in a while, Nutley is sending some 3 students to the state championship of wrestling. Brendan Terrazzo, Isabella Babodia, and Karina Rivera. They're going down on Thursday, and hopefully they'll be wrestling on Saturday in the state championships. Also, our girls bowling team won the Essex County tournament, and Gabriella Severo, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, is competing today individually in bowling. Thank you so much, Mr. President. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Vanya. Our Assistant Superintendent of School Curriculum and Instruction, Mrs. Loconsolo. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Thank you. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin by welcoming Mr. Fraginalis to the Board of Ed. Thank you for your willingness to serve our schools and our students, and I look forward to working together. On Friday, February 16th, the district held a half-day PD for staff and an early dismissal for students. Our K-3 staff engaged in PD on identifying and supporting students with dyslexia, while other members attended sessions on small group instruction with math, IXL, and other department goals. Our next PD half-day will be March 8th, and this K-12 state-mandated session will focus on suicide awareness and prevention. Our teachers are hard at work preparing for Read Across America next week. This event was launched in 1998 by the National Education Association. It's the largest celebration of reading in the country. At our schools next week, events include theme days, guest readers, and other fun events. A special thank you in advance to our board members, commissioners, and community leaders, many of whom will be stopping in to read to our students next week. Additionally, Social Emotional Learning Day, or SEL Day, is also celebrated worldwide on March 8th. As a learning community here in Nutley, we're focused year-long on social emotional learning and on the critical needs and environments needed for academic success, healthy relationships, and brighter futures for all of our students. Our schools all have SEL curricula that encourages students to recognize and regulate their emotions, problem solve, and be kind and respectful to one another. Beyond the classroom, we have a great team, including Meredith Gerkins, our Director of School Counseling, and Jackie DeVore, our High School VP and Coordinator of Nurses, who work closely with the community to organize events and support our students year-round. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DePisa, our Assistant Superintendent of Schools Business and Board Secretary report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry for some redundancy. Welcome to Dan Fraginals and look forward to working with him. I thank him for his volunteerism and look forward to working with him again. Under number 5 and number 6 and 7 under finance, I would like to thank Ian V. Meister for and the staff for achieving some grants. Those are 3 grants that we're approving tonight, and it's an asset to our district. Thank you to our maintenance and custodians and buildings and grounds and Mr. Prigi and Mr. Coster for preparing St. Paul's Annex for classes to start on March 4th. Once again, thank you to the same for a terrific job so far, when hopefully not anymore, for snow removal for the winter season. They do an outstanding job, and they're like unsung heroes in my book. Congratulations to our 3 wrestlers who will be competing in Atlantic City in the state wrestling tournament this weekend. Thank you to our security team who keeps our staff and students safe on a daily basis. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DePisa. Mr. Parigi, Director of Buildings and Grounds.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, at Spring Garden, we had some soundboards fall over the last couple of weeks. We had one fall, didn't hit anybody. There are 64 soundboards in this gym area. We secured all of them to the walls. They were probably 15, 20 years old. They were glued and screwed in the back, and they just failed. So the staff was there for 2 days, securing them all in place, and they're ready to go. We also had the gym floor buckle by the rear entrance. We removed the floor, removed the molding. Don Barlow got the floor back, and it's better than ever. It's flat and shouldn't happen again. The boards were too close to the seams, and he relieved the pressure, and they shouldn't happen again. Okay, high school. We met with the HVAC contractor and engineer to go over the HVAC IT server room with options to repair and or replace. We have those awaiting for replacement costs. We also had the heat exchanger replaced in the main gym over the break. We had a crane come in, remove the old one, and install the new one. It took approximately 12 hours to do that project. It is up and running and working fine. Radcliffe, we replaced 5 gym doors, the door to the storage room, rear door to the exit, the alleyway, and the 2 doors that lead to the boiler room. This project was an undertaking. It took probably 26 weeks to get the doors. Thank you for the money to get that repaired. Washington, the 2 stairwells by the front, by the flagpoles. The one to the left is crumbling due to excessive age and repairs that have been done over the years. Both are getting repaired, the one to the left, the one to the right. That should start, I think, this Saturday. The purchase order has been made. Perone should be in Saturday to start the work. We had 2 staff members over the break. They had water fountain lines were completely clogged. They had to remove some walls and some 4-inch water main to get it, I'm sorry, sewer line to get it cleaned. Everything's backing up and running. We are currently working at St. Paul's, getting ready for the move. I will have an update at our next board meeting of the progress and what we did and how much help we had and what projects are completed, and we'll have a better handle of what we did on that project. Now, we had a contractor come in to give us a health report of our roofs over the break and over the last couple of weeks. They came in and helped us out with that project. The next step is recommended step. If we do is to infrared mapping of the roofs. We have approximately 288,000 square feet of roofing. To next step would see, like I said, would be to infrared the roofs to see where the water leaks are and what needs to be repaired and what needs to be removed. The good news is we are not in desperate need of roofs, but we do need to repair them. We can replace them. We don't need to completely rip off the roofs. There's a product out there. The company that I currently use is AlphaGuard. It comes with a 25-year warranty and maintenance included at 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. This is not complete rip-offs of the roofs, which would probably be somewhere around $50 to $60 million. This estimated, we can, if infrared comes back what we think it is, because we had the contractor walking the roofs for 4 or 5 days. So with the infrared, we'll know more detail what we need to do. We've probably budgeted about $15 million to get all the roofs to where we need them to be. So that's something that we have, in the mix right now for a project.
Do you have a life expectancy of like,
25-year warranty.
no, that's if the work is done, but
Yes,
between
I
now
have
and
that, yeah,
now and needing the work to be done, we don't know that yet?
yeah, I do. Yep. They're categorized. There's a green roof, there's a yellow roof, and a red roof. Obviously, green is going to hold us up for a while. Yellow is what we, probably should start looking at, and red. We don't have any roofs that are in the red. Most of our roofs are in the yellow, which is 258,000 square feet, which means we should start budgeting. We don't need to go on a roof today and start ripping off roofs and spending money to get them fixed. But this AlphaGuard, I've seen it. I've had it installed before. It's across the United States. It's a nationally recognized product. And it comes with a warranty. I mean, it's 25-year warranty, and the maintenance is included. Again, that 2, 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. So they come out and do maintenance to make sure the product is holding up to where they guarantee it. There's engineers on the site at all times, but this is years away. So it's a good product that we need. Any questions on that?
Anyone else have any questions on the board?
And then CUSAC. We've been walking to the buildings. Timmy, myself, and the principals have been walking in every classroom, every closet, every basement, every crawl space, and recommending what needs to be removed, what needs to be done. The teachers, I don't know who talked to them before we got there, but they already had a list of stuff they were getting rid of. There was not an argument. It was very pleasant. I was surprised because you go into the classrooms and you expect them to be, combative and try and make it harder for you, but it went very well. And hopefully everything's ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for all your staff for all they do. Committee reports. Ms. Danchek Martin, Academic Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Academic Committee met on February 22nd. Mrs. Gums joined the committee to discuss the field trip requests for Sedge Island with the Nutley High School AP Environmental Science class. The committee discussed next year's proposed extended day rates. The committee discussed the variations of the proposed academic calendar for the 2024-25 school year. Mr. Banya discussed the ongoing work of the Superintendent's Advisory Committee. He also shared a recommendation for a schedule for RFPs for the board to consider this spring. The committee discussed the opening of the preschool annex at St. Paul's. Mr. Banya introduced the initial draft of the Community District Needs Assessment and discussed facilities and property acquisition. Ms. Loconsolo presented requests for field trips and professional development, and Mr. Banya discussed the personnel recommendation. Our next meeting will be held March 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Balsamo, Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Administration Committee met on February 12th.
Myself with Mr. Kaczynski, Mr. Bania, Mr. DePisa, and Mrs. Loconsolo. Mr. Bania presented the committee with the final draft of the extended day student rates for the 24-25 school year. The committee discussed the proposed 24-25 academic calendar. Mr. Bania shared the work of the Superintendent's Advisory Committee. The committee discussed a recommended schedule for RFPs for service providers. Mr. Bania discussed the opening of the preschool annex at St. Paul's, including steps taken and timeline. Mr. Bania discussed the first draft of the district needs assessment. This will be shared with multiple stakeholder groups and refined at the board retreat to be shared with the community as the district prepares to set district goals for the next year. The next meeting of the administration committee will be held on March 21st at 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Scotty, Finance Committee?
Yes, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on February 21st. During the meeting, Gary Vinci and Elizabeth Schick attended the Finance Committee meeting to discuss the exit interview for the 2022 to 2023 audit. The next Finance Committee meeting will be scheduled in the next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scotty. Hearing of citizens, we now come to that portion of our meeting where we allow members of the public to address the board. In this section, we allow questions or comments on reports, resolutions, and all school-related matters. Our board regulations number 0167 allot 20 minutes for these communications. Each person shall be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask that you try to stay within this requirement. Speakers may speak more than once only after all others wishing to speak on a topic have been heard. All statements will be directed to me as the chairperson, and no one may address board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to state your name and address each and every time you address the board. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Dancheck Martin? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner?
John Kelly, 107 Passaic Ave. And I just want to congratulate Mr. Fraginalis and the rest of the board on the appointment of Mr. Fraginalis. I've come to know him over the last couple of years, and he's a great leader, and he epitomizes all the values that we hold dear here in Nutley. And not only that we come to expect of our leaders, but we come to expect of our neighbors. And he's a true neighbor, truly approachable, and I encourage, I'm sure all of you have met him, but for anyone in the citizens of Nutley who haven't met him, approach him. He's a great guy, and I look forward to working with him. I look forward to continuing to work with the board as we look for ways to enrich the lives of our young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kelly. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Dancheck Martin, can get a motion for the academic resolutions?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to move academic resolutions 1 and 2 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Dr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mr. Fraginalis? Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Scotty? Mr. Ferraro?
Yes. Mr. Balsamo, administration?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to move administration resolutions 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Dr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mr. Fraginalis? Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Scotty? Mr. Ferraro?
Yes. Mr. Scotty, would you move finance resolutions?
Yes, Mr. President. I'd like to move finance resolutions 1 through 12 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Dr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mr. Fraginalis? Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Scotty? Mr. Ferraro?
Yes. Ms. Quirk, would you handle personnel, please?
Yes, I'd like to move personnel resolution 1 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Dr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mr. Fraginalis? Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Scotty? Mr. Ferraro?
Yes. Is there any old business to come before the board? Any new business? Okay, the board is going to be going into executive session, whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters exempt for public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education recess to closed executive session at this time to discuss negotiations, property acquisition, and parent appeals. Be it further resolved that the results of the discussions will be made public by inclusion on the agenda of a subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, or when the reasons for discussing such matters in closed sessions no longer exist. Can I get a motion to adjourn into executive? Okay, thank you, everyone.